Hey, it's your girl Tay. Uh, I'm sorry, but this is my bed, and I can't seem to. I'm by the window. Anyways, um, sit on raggedy glasses. You know how I am about not being uncomfortable. But anyways, I heard the most jacked up story today. Look at this cat. Y'all see? Let me see. Can y'all see that cat on top of that roof sleeping? Anyway, I digress. Total ADD moment. Shout out to Chill on the 6. I have officially added I digress to my vocabulary simply because you boo boo. But okay, the most craziest story that I've ever heard so far in 2009 and maybe ever in life is that crazy. Okay, my mama's friend Mary calls her up and she's like, let me tell you the story. And Mary's like the news person for my mama. She gets her news from her side of the world, but she lives like in I'm like a smaller outskirt town of Valdosta. But I'm sorry, this story is so ridiculous. Okay, there's a place in Georgia called Nashville, and it's about 20 miles away from the city, which is Valdosta, which is metropolitan, by the way. It's not like a small city. But anyways, so she's like, there's this girl from Nashville, and she went to South Carolina, North Carolina, somewhere like that, and that's where she's living, and her and her girlfriends have a pact, and it's one of those, we come to the club together, we leave the club together kind of pacts, we're not splitting up and going out with guys or whatever, we're going to leave together. And so that's cool, and so they go out to the club, and she meets a guy, and the girl from Nashville meets a guy. She goes out with like a group of her friends, and she meets a guy, and he's like totally into her, and he's like cute, and like he's like totally into her all night. He's like hugging on her and like smooching on her, and he kept like coming back and like giving her like smooches on her jaw and on her neck and on her arms, and like totally just like smooching just like all up over her. And so at the end of the night, he's like, can I come home with you? And she's like, no, you can't come home with me. And he's like, well, do you want to come home with me? And she's like, well, no, me and my girlfriends came together, we leave together. And so he follows her all the way out to the car, and she's like, well, I'm not going to go home with you or whatever, so, like we can exchange numbers. So they exchange numbers or whatever, and she goes home actually with one of her girlfriends and spends the night at one of her girlfriend's houses. And okay, I'm sorry, this is totally crazy, but anyways, here's the kicker. Her girlfriend wakes up the next morning and gets up, and she's like going to make breakfast or whatever, and she like she totally like goes in the room and like trying to talk to her friends or whatever. She's like, what's that on your skin? Like, are you breaking out some kind of rash? And she's like, no, I don't know, I'm not in a rash. And so they go in the bathroom and get in brighter light, and there are like plugs of her skin out, like whole like big to the meat plugs out of like her face, her neck, her arms, and her chest. So her and her friend are totally freaking out, and they go to the hospital. When they get to the hospital, okay, the hospital staff called the police, and the police came, and they were like, why did you call the police? And they were like, because you have been attacked by a cannibal. The hell? Okay, so they're like, do you know the guy or whatever? She's like, no. They were like, do you know his name? He was like, I know. She's like, I know his first name, but I got his phone number. And so they're like, well, can you call him? So they call him and arrange. He gave her directions to his house, and the police went to arrest him, and in his house they found 13 bodies, 13 bones of people that he had eaten up. Okay, this sounds like, okay, first of all, if this story is true, okay, and there's any like part of it that I'm relaying that's like not right or whatever, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not like saying, you know, that it's true or whatever. I'm just relaying the story the way it was told to me. But okay, this story has so many holes in it that it doesn't make any sense. First of all, if I'm a cannibal and I want to eat on someone, I'm not going to start nibbling on them at the club. First of all. Second of all, I don't care how high you are. I don't care how drunk you are. There are some things that happen to you when you are high and drunk that will sober you up like that. One of them, particularly being, and that I had never considered before, would be somebody biting plugs out of your flesh. I mean, I'm just saying. If a Negro, you know, it's kind of like sex. If I'm in the throes of sex, I'm in the throes. I'm having old orgasms and I'm in the throes. If a guy keeps on slipping and like almost poking me in my butt, okay, I'm like, okay, well he's getting it right. But if he slips up and he pokes me in the booty, I don't care if I'm in the middle of an orgasm, my orgasm is gonna stop. Because I'm like, hey, you in the wrong place. Which is kind of the same feeling I would kind of gather you would get from somebody biting plugs out of your flesh. Second of all. Third of all. Okay, what kind of scenario would you have to go through? Okay, be this reaching. Say he had Novocaine on his lips and he was numbing the skin as he was biting it out. You can feel a numbing sensation. You're going to be like, hey. Because we all have had like that one little white strand or one little strand of something that has totally made us crazy. So, okay, we can far reach with that. But, third of all, okay, it's nighttime. We get in the car. We go to my homegirl's house. Okay, did she not cut the lights on in the house? Did she not change her clothes? Did she just go into a dark house, into a dark room, fall into the bed with her club clothes on and go to sleep? And not get up and pee or change clothes or anything? It just seems so impossible. And it seems like the craziest thing in the world. If it is real, that is totally crazy. So I don't know what to think. But I mean, I'm going out tonight and I feel like my buttery goodness is on high alert. Because there's a lot of me to chew on. So now, like, that's in the back of my mind. And it's, like, totally crazy. But anyways, I just had to tell you guys this story because it's so crazy. Anyways, I think my next video, I'm going to make a how-to make fabulous things that are not expensive. So, I love you guys. Mwah.